Welcome everyone to 50v50 comp match here tonight between 7th Cav and CHAD+BR1. I am joined today with
Sergeant.Sotelo from the 7th Cav Gaming Regiment.
yeah, so we're gonna be kind of back and forth together here tonight's stream. So I hope that's a lot of fun for everyone here involved. And before we get to that, we are doing a charity stream as well. So without further ado, I'm going to implement that video here and just kind of give you a brief description on what it is that they do. So we'll be right back.
This is a Gamers Outreach Cart, or Go-Kart for short. It's a portable video game kiosk built specifically for hospitals. Created and assembled by Gamers Outreach, each unit helps provide recreation to kids and young adults unable to leave their bedsides. The carts can be disinfected easily and have 360 degrees of movement, making them ideal for transport in hospitals. Go-karts can accommodate a variety of gaming consoles. They also come with wired controllers, a gaming monitor, and are equipped with a lift mechanism that allows the height to be adjusted. Go-karts provide a safe, flexible, and efficient way to ensure patients have access to entertainment during long-term hospitalization. To learn more about Project Go-Kart, visit gamersoutreach.org.
And welcome back, guys. So that's what you'll be seeing on the charity tonight. That's the video, or I'm sorry, that's the link you'll be seeing at the top of the screen, along with donation polls. Please, if you feel like that's a cause that you'd like to contribute with, go ahead and do that. You'll be seeing at the top of my screen and Sotelo's as well. So go have it. You'll also find a link in the description below. All right, so real quick, we're gonna take a look at what we have for first-person cameras tonight. So let me implement that right here. We will be having Buttons, which I know, Sotelo, you're a lot familiar with him. Do you want to tell us kind of what position he'll be going in with?
Yeah, so Corporal Button, he is one of our tank commanders for tonight. So you'll be getting one of the armored assets for the 7th Cav, and his Goblin mode that we like to call it the Goblin mode, tank commander playstyle he runs.
All right, awesome. Yeah, and then on our side, so we'll be having Jaybird, which I know everyone here is familiar with. He has been one of our first-person cameras in the past. And then a new first-person camera. He's not new to the BR1 TV streams, but Willie Man is transitioning from casting tonight to being one of the first-person cameras. So keep a lookout for that. Get excited, get hyped if that's what you're hoping for. He's on the other side. Without anything further to do, we're going to introduce the rosters tonight and kind of do a deep breakdown. Would you like to go first?
Absolutely, we can start that off. Let's go ahead and get that up there. So for tonight, we are going to be led, as Cav will be led by Major Mix. He will be our team commander tonight. We have a couple guys for recon, Argentini, Fowler. We have Woody and Carr as well. Those will be our main recon assets, taking the spotter and the sniper positions in game. Starting with our armor, armor lead will be tonight First Lieutenant Smith, with his crew, Life Reed and Boss. Very, very seasoned tank crew. Second tank in this game is going to be under Corporal Lee, with Sergeant Bush and Specialist Choi tonight for that second armor crew. And then finally, the third crew, like we said, with Corporal Button. He is going to be our third and final TC for tonight with Burkowski and Winter. So those are going to be your 9 armor crewmen for the 7th Cav tonight. And then as far as infantry goes, it's going to be a myriad of multiple different people. Rasmus, Blade, Whitefish. We have a lot of different guys coming in from different aspects within the 7th Cav competitive team. A lot of us are, just general mechanized infantry, general infantry, things like that. So you're going to see a lot of members who are in all honesty, all sense of the word, pretty seasoned with their specific roles, which is, we hope is going to be a good competitive scene with a lot of different doctrines, a lot of different tactics that we'll be seeing tonight.
Awesome.
And I think we will be actually moving on into the airborne in just a second. Felton, retiree Smith, of course, happy to see him in. He love that dude. Such a great guy, by the way. That's Smith. Johnson, and then I think starting with D'Amico, we're going to see our airborne sections. So our airborne is definitely kind of it's really weird to say airborne and Hell Let Loose, but they of course have their own doctrine, their own kind of style in terms of where they fit in tonight's match, map-wise.
All right, awesome. So after this, we're going to transition over to CHAD+BR1 rosters. I wasn't briefed on what exact roles everyone's doing tonight, so just giving you a heads up on that. But we are going to scroll through it here. So we're heading over here, and you're definitely going to see our outputs here. So starting it off with Jaybird from 302. All right, so we do have a first-person camera with him tonight. We're also having, as we go through here, Bobo the Monk. He's a very familiar streamer on here, very familiar infantry guy. You've seen him a lot with tanks, taking him out with that bazooka. As well as that, you'll see Willie Man, who we also have first-person cam on tonight as well, transitioning from casting to gameplay. We'll see how that transitions for him with our death cams tonight. So just keep that in mind as we go through our roster here. Everyone's just seeing there, you have Herb here as well, Wiggly, Spax. I mean, there's a bunch of different ones here that you can definitely see, along with BR1, and it's a Chad mix. Pudding Toes, another familiar name, and of course Dark Caesar, who we've had in the past with multiple tank kills. A lot of MVP notices from Dark Caesar tonight, possibly another one. We'll see. Scotty Dot, all familiar names here as we go. Also with Dark Unbroken, do see a couple of newcomers as well. But as we come here and kind of finish out through our kind of end set here with our rosters, we'll see who comes up top. And I don't know if you're familiar, because I know you are new to the stream. Have you had any type of stream watching of BR1 TV in the past?
Oh, here and there for sure. Definitely, I've always been interested in how you guys play because I mean, we've seen you guys for the last couple of years. You guys have been a big name in the Hell Let Loose community for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So as we're kind of rounding out here, and it's been awesome to have you on the stream. Welcome. Also, I just want to say that as we continue to go through our roster here with Moldy Butterfly, we're starting to get into that more Chad section of our final as we round out here to the end. So we are on 27th. And we're not going to have a full roster in here tonight for you. But this, I believe, is the last one. Yep. So finally figuring out with him. And that is our rosters for tonight's stream. Anything you'd like to cover here as right before we continue in to our coverage?
As of right now, I'm just kind of anticipating just this matchup. 7th Cav has been putting in a lot of work, building up confidence, getting into the competitive scene. We used to have one, but we've kind of rebuilt our competitive program. And I'm really anticipating a really interesting match. Because as you guys are playing in the APL, a very, very hardcore competitive scene. 7th Cav really isn't any leagues. We are still kind of a milsim adjacent or casual milsim area. So I'm really interested in seeing how a general milsim community fares up against a more seasoned competitive community with that league experience. I'm really anticipating some really interesting tactics, meta strategies, and potentially where those might line up and where those might actually conflict. Either one just completely overpowering another.
I gotcha, yeah. And I mean, I'm excited for tonight's stream. I think we have a lot of good matchup here going forward. We'll see what the outcome is. But I will say this, and I'm going to say this once for everyone watching. As I hit this button, we do have one request on this stream. And we always ask, as always, please subscribe, leave a like, comment. We are on a 15-minute delay, so keep that in mind as you continue to watch. We should be live around 9:15 p.m. EST time, so that's when everything will start going in motion. As of right now, we're just waiting for the match to start, chilling, having a good time, and we're waiting for this wonderful Hell Let Loose match to start. So, as we wait, and I know I have a couple questions for you. What are some things right now with your first streaming jitters? You know, we're trying to get that shaked out for you. Um, let's talk about the map. You know, we definitely know what map we're going to be playing on. So if you want to go ahead and share some of your thoughts on the map tonight.
Yeah, we've been playing. I mean, I've personally been playing Hell Let Loose for a very long time, and I know when the Russians were first brought into the game, we just had Stalingrad and Kursk, and it was a really weird mixture of that, either open, long sight line, nothing really on the map other than open fields. And then Stalingrad, as buggy as it was, there was that really dense urbanness to it, broken up sight lines and things like that. One thing about Kharkov when they brought it into the game was there was a little bit of a mixture of having really intense sight lines, but then having a lot of rolling hills, woodline areas, and of course in the urban setting where the strong point St. Mary is, and even at the distillery, there was a new kind of feel to the Russian maps. So I know with Kharkov, it's honestly one of my favorite maps to just even play tanks on. Again, really, really good sight lines in certain areas, but then also really good areas for ducking in and out of cover, both as an infantryman or as a tank. My background is tanking, of course. With the amount of hours that I have in this game, I wish I could say it was balanced, but no, I am a hardcore tanker through and through. And one of the things I've definitely noticed with Kharkov is if you know how to maneuver that tank and find the cover, you can do very well. There's a lot of good little peaky spots that tanks can set up on that are both advantageous to one side, but also kind of balances out in the way that, hey, there's not a lot of other cover for you in that sense if you're not careful. So I'm really interested in seeing how the tanks specifically position themselves on this map, either commanding those sight lines or their maneuverability to react to specific forces in specific context as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's definitely a solid tank map. I think we're going to see a lot of good tanking from this aspect. And I believe that's going to be kind of your category here when the match starts, as we are waiting for some people to trickle in. That you're going to be focusing more on the match side of things, or for tanks, I mean, as the match progresses.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely will seeing the infantry side. Of course, I'm definitely not going to be completely one-sided, but armor is my background, and that is of course going to be one of my bigger, more confident aspects that I can definitely comment on.
All right, awesome. So again, we're just waiting for those final pieces of the puzzle, or we should say, to kind of come into play. As we wait, we're going to go to our Be Right Back screen, and hopefully we'll be back in a few moments. All right, guys. So we are back, and we're gonna break down tonight's map for you. So as you can see here, we don't know exactly what the points are going to be, but we do have the possibilities of what they could be. So without any further ado, let's get started.
Absolutely. So one thing that I definitely want to always look at first is the middle map, the middle strong points, right? Middle strong points can sometimes determine a whole team's first initial play, and those first 5 minutes can be very crucial because ultimately, if you can get that first strong point flip from neutral, that can give you a good leg up to really set the tone of how the match is going to be. With Watermill, St. Mary, and Distillery, these are three different styles of strong points as a whole. Watermill really is a open field strong point with a little bit of cover, and mainly it's more trees and tree line that breaks up the sight lines into Watermill. One thing about Watermill is on the Russian side specifically, they do have a kind of a mountainous or a little hill here, just at the line of the 5-4 column right here.
And if you remember right, there is some like trails where it forces them through, so there is funnels on that spot.
100%. A smart team will typically set up support by fire positions on this little hill range here at that column. Essentially trying to cut off any type of influx from the south by the German team, right? So if the 7th Cav is coming in as the Russians, one thing that I'm definitely going to predict already from the get-go is they're going to have some form of support by fire or anti-tank guns set up in the hills just off to the northwest of the strong point and potentially to the northeast, although the northeast does have a lot of trees and things that breaks up that cover. For the German side, of course, it's a pretty much it's a what do you call it, a lower position to the Russian side of Watermill. So coming in from the city here, or the trail houses here, BR1's gonna have an interesting time trying to get through that open field coming in from the south of Watermill. So I'm very interested in seeing how they handle Watermill in their approach in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. You always got to look out for the first 15 minutes of the match. It's always key on who's going to get to the midpoint first, who's going to cap that, who's going to control it going forward into the match.
Absolutely. I know a lot of us like to run light tanks and recon to get really quickly into those points. So I'm definitely interested in seeing how that gets tackled.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get a tank there, it doesn't matter what size. If you can get it there first, that's going to help out with any infantry that tries to push on that point because it's just a little bit armored and it's harder to take out. Where if you try to go with a heavy, it's just not going to get there in time. It may be more effective, but when you need to get that initial push and cap that point right there, you'll see a lot of teams, as you said, with the light tank.
Absolutely. It looks like 30 seconds before map flip, so it looks like we might be starting in a minute.
I do see that. So we are in that 30-second count. We're going to switch over here soon. But until then, we're just going to let you guys just kind of take in this map one more time. And when we flip on over, we'll hopefully see our new points. So we're going to go back here to our live chat here. I'm going to transfer us over. So real quick as well, I'm going to let our slides go through here. We do have events with BR1 Gaming here every Saturday at 1 p.m. We have our Saturday Brawls with Beyond the Wire, and following that with Friday Night Fights. It's also hosted by the Senate. It's every Friday at 9 p.m. EST. After that, we also have Sunday night standoffs. If you want to see some of those matches, you can definitely look at some of those streams on BR1 TV as well, but that one's also at 9 p.m. EST as well. So keep those in mind. If you guys want to participate, show up on the Discord, discord.gg/BR1, and we can have a wonderful time with any newbies. As I say that, it's always the term that we use here in Hell Let Loose, or I mean just in communities in general, can join us, and we do encourage that. All right, and you will see our highlighted modes in all tonight, so you will be able to see everything, see where everything's located. That way it's highlighted for you, a little bit easier to see in red and green. And blue, actually. So I am seeing Willie Man here. It looks like he'll be one of the tanks on the ally side, and Buttons is on the Axis. So well, Soviets. So let me see here. We got Axis, allies. I think I had that reversed. Willie Man's on the Axis, Buttons on the allies.
Yep. And believe it or not, it looks like Watermill is the middle point for tonight. So I'm really happy we went through that one first.
Yeah, there you go. So we got our midpoint that we wanted. That's going to be a very exciting midpoint as I kind of rush over there in first person as well. Just keep in mind we'll have the church. I'm also going to pull up our scoreboard here. So we do have a lovely scoreboard for tonight. Again, this is an exhibition match, so it's not going to count for any league matches or anything like that. It's just a friendly exhibition for these lovely teams to kind of get a good practice in and some development. So we're 23 seconds away from the initial countdown. I'm seeing 18, 17, so I'll give you that 10-second countdown. So we switch over here. You're seeing that we have that 10 seconds left till we go live, and I have the overhead view of that push point.
All right, looks like they're off. The first initial wall has been dropped, and they are pushing quick. Looks like I was actually wasn't surprised. Looks like both teams are going to be running artillery for the very first initial parts of the map. I'm sure they're trying to get those first initial rounds down range, probably with the expectation of specific areas that they deem the enemy's probably going to be going through. And look at BR1 going straight through the open road with that supply truck. Let's see how the Soviet Cavs are currently pushing out.
Alright, yeah, for sure. So I'm going to switch over here to first person. We're not seeing anyone on the main point yet. As I kind of zoom in here, we'll see how well that shakes off. We are seeing
BR1 seems to have a commanding movement into the strong point with a lot more people in the direct area. It looks like Cav is a little slow getting bodies into the main point.
Alright, yeah, so as you can see, there's a lot of movement here on the main front.
I'm seeing a lot of 7th Cav definitely taking for that hill that we mentioned earlier, that is to the northwest of the strong point, trying to get that elevated position over the actual strong point itself of Watermill. The 7th Cav T-34 seems to be taking a more slower approach as they approach Watermill, taking the back line. I'm curious to see where that second 7th Cav tank is.
Yeah, is that the one that we have for Buttons, I believe?
Button, I believe, is going to be in the the BA-10, the recon. I'm not sure where that's at. It looks like he's off on the flank side, so he's doing a deep flank, it seems.
Alright, so as we're kind of pushing here, we're going to tune in to Jaybird here, as he's kind of right in the middle of everything that's going on. He gets taken out.
One thing I'm seeing, just based off of the icon alone, it looks like the width of the battle line between 7th Cav is a little bit more narrow, a little more pointed towards the Watermill compared to the BR1 team, which is a little bit more wide. It's actually encompassing St. Mary's as well, so it seems like they have a much wider battle line.
I am noticing that as well. You are seeing a wide section here.
And it looks like as that happens, it looks like BR1's probably going to start coming in from that that eastern flank of Watermill because of it too.
And as we tune into Willie Man and Jaybird, you are seeing that push with a lot of friendly infantry on their end, on the Axis side. So as we see here, BR1 does have control over Watermill on the initial push, and we did say that was a crucial point, so we'll see how this shakes out going forward.
Yeah, at this point, 7th Cav are now going to be on the back foot, right? Attacking is very difficult in Peleliu, in my opinion, and so getting that great foothold in is going to be kind of the first priority, and then from there, gaining the ground, holding the ground, and clearing out BR1 from the strong point. Spawn points, things like that are going to be crucial for 7th Cav to prioritize and taking down. And then there's 7th Cav C-34 setting up a position northwest of the strong point. Pretty expected. That is the elevated position. So I'm anticipating a decent amount of fire that they can put down using that T-34, depending on infantry presence and protection.
You're seeing buttons. It doesn't look like he's completely there yet. And Jaybird just went down. So taking a look at Willie Man's camera here, looks like he's right behind one of those scouting vehicles.
Yeah, that's going to be the German Puma. So it looks like that recon, judging based off of... Where is that recon, actually? I'm looking for it right now. I'm seeing it looks like the BR1 P4 is currently on the north tank. I think they might actually be hunting down the 7th Cav recon tank right now. Yep, incoming. Let's see what they do. Oh, look at this. Looks like that recon is being disciplined, waiting for a good back shot on that P4. Let's see if they can pull something off.
Yeah, if you want to scroll your mouse down here, you're going to get some slow movements gear going forward for you. There we go.
Looks like anti-infantry for BR1 is going to try and fend off that recon car. That recon car seems to be getting out of there.
It's being kind of risky right there.
There it goes, yeah.
There it goes.
That was interesting play.
And let's watch a replay on that. I mean, that you knew it was going to happen, but it's like, is he actually going to get some shots on the back end here? Where's it coming? You know, I thought at the end that supply truck was going to get blown up, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, the idea of the recon car really isn't a one-on-one fighter type of play, right? Recon cars are hit-and-run tactics. You know, we even say guerrilla warfare at times because it's speedy, but it doesn't pack a huge amount of punch. And that's definitely something I was hoping to see if that tank would get away, exit really quickly, and just and try and maintain survivability. So.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so as we're looking here, we are starting to see some lines form. As you can see, they are turning into trench warfare. But
interesting to see. It looks like the 7th Cav tanks are starting to get taken taking a lot of contact by a lot of infantry, and there's very little friendly infantry in the area. IS-1's currently fighting him off with that T-34. It went down by, I think, what looks to be a Panzerschreck at one point. So it looks like that IS-1 is currently on its own, fending off pretty much the German army at this point.
You're definitely hearing heavy tank sounds there, heavy battle sounds. I'm going to throttle that back just slightly for you.
One thing that we mentioned about this specific position right here, this trench line that is essentially northwest of the point. Again, it's an elevated position over Watermill, and BR1 was very quick to ensure that they had a decent sized presence on it, because at this point now, BR1 has an elevated position of any type of northern approach by 7th Cav. So they're really digging in deep with this defense. And helping and basically being very proactive in their defense of Watermill. So now 7th Cav has to push through BR1 before they can even get into the strong point.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're definitely going to see this applied a lot.
We're seeing that P4. I'm not sure if the infantry's called out what that IS-1 is, but that P4 is currently pushing into potentially trying to attack that IS-1, I believe. Which might be an interesting call, but he might have realized what it was and backed off.
Yeah, we're not seeing a whole push here. I'm going to check in here with Buttons, as it looks like he's getting closer to where we're kind of at here on the map. He's still way out.
Yeah, Button is approaching, I believe, with that T-70. That's the Russian light tank, passing Lumberworks. I'm not sure if he's going to go on defensive or if he's going to be trying to push out again.
Alright, well, we'll keep an eye on that. As we continue here, we're starting to see there's definitely a lot of stuff going on in between these 2 points here. Watermill and Lumberworks. You're going to see a lot of movement and fighting in between here. There's a big trench line, and that's kind of the main focal point here on the match so far.
Like we see Button's T-70 coming in to join the fight. Lumberworks is definitely a difficult strong point, in my opinion, to attack. Lot of building cover, a lot of just general cover for that matter. A lot of good areas for infantry to put down OPs with some decent amount of protection. Not sure about you, but it always seems like when it comes to Lumberworks, a heavy arty assault, just constant dense fire would be very useful if BR1 wants to try and uproot 7th Cav.
And as you were speaking that, I just switched over. Just had a tank get blown up out of nowhere. I'm gonna see right here.
Yeah, I'm not even sure where that came from.
I'm gonna see if we go to our replay, if we can see where the shot came from exactly, but I definitely found him. And as you were speaking that, I just switched over. So I just caught the rear end of that. And as you can see, they're right over here to the left.
Yeah, I'm not even sure where that came from.
So, got them right here. Let me see if I come off of this. Yep. You'll see 7th Cav, and you can see they've been marked now ever since they took out that tank. So, would be interesting.
The IS-1's position is very interesting, yeah.
We're going to tune in the Jaybird here while we wait, just to see what happens on that point. I'm going to stay with that tank. As for Jaybird, though, he's right in the middle of everything. He's in that trench line that we kept showing.
Yep.
And it looks like, has it been letting up? I'm going to switch over to you. And it doesn't...
You know, presence of BR1 has definitely lessened. But it hasn't been completely vanished from that trench system. I have a feeling Jaybird's specific squad is probably going to stay there and essentially be kind of a capstone of that specific point, because I have a feeling BR1 knows if that point is controlled by one person, that team is going to get a pretty good advantage on either defending or attacking Watermill.
Yeah, and that's more the west side of the map, if I am correct?
Yes. Yeah, yep.
So they're
Looks like there is some tank-on-tank engagement. Not sure by what, but that IS-1 is definitely taking some shots. It looks like we have a heavy Panther engaging something.
It looks
I'm
like,
assuming it's the IS-1.
Yeah, and it looks like Jaybird's trying to spot it from his location.
Yep, that Panther is in a has a good position of cover. It looks like they're gonna probably do blank fire. Interested in seeing this IS-1 if it's gonna have to defend or if it's just gonna fully have to exit the area.
So they're seeing they just got a hit there.
It looks like BR1's also pushing that IS-1 with enemy or with anti-tank infantry as well.
Yeah, so we're seeing a good push, good use of infantry. There's no, one thing with 7th Cav is there's no friendlies over here for them to help support.
Yeah. You know, one thing we mentioned when we were first talking about the Watermill strong point of the Germans having that open field in their southern approach of Watermill, it's actually also the same way coming up to that first initial berm north of the Watermill for the Russians. Russians have this huge open field that they're going to now have to essentially walk through just to get onto that trench system that Jaybird is currently holding.
Yep, and as we
tune
tune
in, the IS-1 was able to repair too as well.
Looks like Jaybird's getting out of his trench to try and see exactly where they're at on the map here. And as we're watching that, they almost got taken out again. They still haven't moved yet. We'll see if there's a chance or a change here.
Good inking of a rocket with that so just a slight hull turn, get that frontal armor forward. That thick armor will definitely protect them, at least from the Panzerschreck for the IS-1.
As you go and look at the rest of the match here, I mean, definitely seeing a lot of ricochets, a lot of stuff. I'm going to bring up the map here shortly. Not seeing any cap points. Did take a nasty hit there to the front. If you want to see where that other tank is real quick.
So that other tank is actually on the, if you reference on the map,
I'm looking at Willie Man. It looks like he's with that other tank. So we have two tanks on that point, or is that the midpoint?
Let's see. So I'm seeing the Panther that I believe is engaging that IS-1 is on the end of the neighborhood just west of River Crossing, and he's just taking some far throws, trying to potentially get some shots on that IS-1. But I am seeing a second IS-1 just north. Excuse me, just. North of the first IS-1, I believe, providing Overwatch cover, which I'm sure is going to be very helpful for that first IS-1.
Ah, there you go. So you do have cover there. It's kind of hidden, but it's there. But as we see one of the CHAD+BR1 guys push up here to try and possibly put a satchel on, we'll see how this shakes out.
I'm interested in seeing because he's a support player. I don't know how much he'd be able to do. Looks like that IS-1 just took out an anti-tank gun that had been initially built by the Germans to potentially deal with that IS-1, but it did just go down.
Alright, well...
Oh, it looks like Smith is not going to... TC for that IS-1 just got taken out by infantry. So now that IS-1 is down to 2 crewmen currently.
Yep, I'm going to switch over. You're seeing that. Let's see if we have some first person from Buttons or Willie Man here. Looks like Willie Man's a spotter. Oof.
Oh, I just realized what they did. Oh my god, that second IS-1 just scratched the back of the first one. We used to run this tactic essentially where if enemy infantry is climbing all over your buddy's tank, just send an HE off your buddy tank and that HE will explode and kill the enemy infantry trying to overwhelm your buddy. It's interesting tactic. We call it scratching your back. It's really fun when it actually works.
Gotcha. It's an interesting tactic to see.
Yep. And it ended up killing that support player that was harassing that IS-1.
Okay. So there you go. A lot of spread out, as I've noticed. We have a lot of infantry kind of spreading out now. And those lines are not as prominent as they were at the beginning of the match.
Not at all. BR1 is definitely really starting to dig in more ground, especially into the Delta 4, Delta 3 area. So they're really actually isolating that first IS1 very well, and they're really pushing back 7th Cav teams as they try and push from one of the works, and they're just not getting any ground.
So it looks like there is a Panther coming up here to possibly push out that other tank. And I think this is Willie Man. Nope, nope.
Oh, we got Button in the scout car again, potentially looking for a tie. Being a pestilence on this side of the map.
Gotcha. All right.
BR1's definitely starting to make a really good push with the B line from Watermill to Lumberworks, but it looks like 7th Cav is actually putting in some cap pressure at Watermill.
Yeah, we are seeing a slight cap there, as you can see on the scoreboard, your bottom right. I'm gonna zoom in here because, yeah, I've actually just had that.
Yep, just same as well.
We're gonna do a replay on that.
Really good job with the 7th Cav IS1s. Oh my god!
Yeah,
wow.
Slight cap there, as you can see on the scoreboard, your bottom right. I'm gonna zoom in here because.
Yeah, really good job with those IS1s working together, covering each other. I don't think that first IS1 would have survived had it not been for that second one.
So there you go, that overlapping support, and now it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of armor really defending this point. It's a pretty more easy push for 7th Cav to come in and try and take the point here, which they already have a half cap on the point here.
There is a Tiger actually just to the east of Watermill that is providing support by fire for the BR1. I'm looking for it right now, and I can't find it for some reason.
Alright, so while you're looking for that, I'm just going to supply a brief overlook here. We're also going to tune the Jaybird who's on the ground. Let's see here. See some support here from Jaybird.
Oh, it looked like that Tiger is actually pushing into the Watermill to help kind of alleviate that crash. I'm going to see what happens if 7th Cav can deal with that tank.
So here's that tank you're talking about if you want to go in and lock in on it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, let's go lock in on this one here. You go and press that G button. We can get that lock. Oh, it takes a hit from the back.
I am sure that crew is not having a good time right now.
Nope, and I just want to point out, it just went past where Jaybird went down, so.
So it looks like the BR1 assets that were actually on that northern section are now coming back in to crash back on the point. Really good response by BR1 on that.
Alright, so just keep in mind, I believe we still have a 7th Cav tank on the far side here. I'm trying to find it.
Looks like there's a Puma. The Puma up here is also trying to find it as well. And the Puma just found it.
Alright.
Really good response by that Puma crew.
Alright, I definitely want to watch a replay on that, so I'm going to take a look here. Tank on the far side here. I'm trying to find it.
Looks like there's a Puma. The Puma up here is also trying to find it as well.
And we didn't even see it on the stream, like on the screen. Like we barely saw it. You just happened to catch it.
I barely caught it. I barely caught it.
So you definitely got it there. It looks like Button's out of his tank here. Yep, he's getting he's getting the light again. We'll check in.
So 100%, I'm pretty sure Button's crew is kind of running the light and recon asset. Like again, high maneuverability, not a whole lot of firepower, but their goal there isn't necessarily to be a tank destroyer, but more or less a nuisance in the back lines, and essentially being just a problem because ultimately those guys who can really give issues and pull attention can sometimes help their team get into an area that is being alleviated by that distraction.
All right, so we're tuned into Willie Man's cam here. It looks like he's kind of focusing on it. Is that a trench right there? Or? I don't know. He's got a guy behind a tree. Oh, he destroyed an enemy outpost. That's what it was.
Good kill. Really good job. Looked like that Puma, Willie Man's Puma, is pushing in where they suspect the Cav must have some sort of spawn point because they were pushing in for a minute. Oh, look at that. He just cleared another one as well.
Yeah, so I'm kind of giving you the in-person and then third-person view here. So first person, third person.
Yeah, that Puma's use of maneuverability, really good job. He has not stopped at all for the most part. He has just maintained movement, making him a hard target to kill by enemy infantry.
All right, so again, it looks like he's kind of going backwards here, away from all the points. Yep, just trying to get back to the main road, clear everything out. As I saw, there's people close to the garrison. Okay. We're gonna tune in to Jaybird real quick. Looks like he's just slightly off of the point. If you want to check and see where Buttons is at, he's got to be getting close to the action.
Oh, he 100% is. He's pushing that T-70 pretty much straight on the point, it looks like. It looks like the 7th Cav Armored is kind of just holding the western section of the map, keeping elevation on the western hills, and just putting down fire from range, which is honestly, as a tanker, you know, range is your best friend. Your gunner has a good gun sight. You with the periscope has that zoom level. You know, you really don't need to engage anything within 200 meters. And I think that's what Cav is doing right now, is keeping distance, making sure that they don't tunnel too much. But I do see a Panther currently coming up the line with Texi coming out the foot scout. So we'll see if this Panther can deal with those IS-1s at all.
Alright, I'm going to keep it on Buttons here as he pushes up. And I do just want to kind of point out that we did have a slight push as I switch over here on Lumberworks, but it looks like 7th Cav kind of negated that and kind of pushed him away. So that is no more over here by Works. We'll be back kind of following Buttons here and seeing kind of what happens with that Panther.
It looks like the Panther has been spotted by those IS-1s, and he is getting pushed hard. It's also interesting to note, actually, the tide has kind of flipped in a way, with now the 7th Cav is starting to get a foothold on that trench system that was to the northwest of the watermill we were talking about, and it's really kind of the BR1's going to have to get that land back, essentially. It looks like Buttons' tank is currently trying to go for that rear shot. Let's see if he can pull it off. There he goes. Buttons on it. Oh, looks like he got an engine kill on that, and it's gone. Good job, the Button, on that one.
Dang, this needs to look a replay here.
There he goes. Buttons on it. Oh, looks like he got an engine kill on that, and it's gone. Good job, the Button, on that one.
So as you can see, this is kind of the cap point right now for Watermill. There's not a whole lot of infantry around the point. So I'm going to kind of span over here. The Lumberworks, you're kind of just seeing the even spread between the two. And we're going to see kind of what direction this goes. Is it going to go towards Lumber Yard, or is it going to go towards more of the midpoint, which is, you know, the Watermill? So we'll see how this happens.
Interesting to note, actually, the two-man Tiger team that's been kind of to the east of Watermill is actually taking shot. He took out one of the IS-1s, and I think he's currently scouting the second one right now. And
there you go. Yeah, you can definitely see, definitely just halting there, waiting. Not seeing a whole lot of action from them. No, not a whole lot of shots, just waiting. And sometimes
Oh, it looks like he's got a shot on that IS-1. I'm not sure what the damage was to that IS-1 is. The IS-1's trying to get a shot sim. Let's see if he can take it. Another shot on that IS-1. I'm gonna we'll go check and see how that IS-1 is doing. Oh yeah, the IS-1 definitely is taking some hull damage. We'll see if it actually goes through.
As you're doing, we had a supply drop. I'm gonna pull you away here because we actually are having some cap progress here on Watermill. So, as you can see, there's not a whole lot of infantry on this. Most of 7th Cav is pushing in. I'm not seeing a whole lot of backup here.
Watermill, yep, it looked like they're doing a really good job clearing off Watermill. Really good job with 7th Cav on that one.
So with about 58 minutes left, 7th Cav is getting close to that halfway cap here on Watermill.
And then it looks like just as you pulled away, that IS-1 did end the final blow on that Tiger. So that as of right now, I'm not seeing a whole lot of armor presence for BR1 at the time. So we'll see if the armor presence for 7th Cav can maintain.
Yeah, and as well as I'm just kind of looking around, I'm not seeing a whole lot of BR1 guys on Watermill. So this may be a full cap point here for 7th Cav, and as they may take control. And as I say that though, we are seeing some cap point or cap progress on Lumberworks.
And there is a huge push. Oh, that's a bombing run for sure. It looks like they might be trying to clear off Watermill with that. Let's see if it comes through. One or two maybe.
Slightly off there on that push.
Yeah. There's a huge push by BR1 from St. Mary's area, from the east. I'm sure that's going to put a lot of pressure on that Watermill cap.
Yes, they just need to hold it off to cap the next point, but as of right now, it's looking like Watermill may go to 7th Cav. As you can see, as we tune the Jaybird, he's part of that push coming over to Watermill.
And that is a cap. That is a cap for Watermill to 7th Cav.
Yep, so they now have control over 7th Cav now has control over Watermill. As you can see, we are seeing some tank markings all the way to the south, so there is a heavy push over to River Crossing as it appears.
It looks like Button Tanks is actually pushing River Crossing already, and he's already putting some cap pressure on it.
So we're going to tune in the buttons here, see what we got going on. See if we can get some action out of this.
Button seems to definitely be on the prowl for sure.
Yep, so I was able to find his tank here. And it looks like we have a Puma just out of the corner of my eye. I was seeing it. Don't know if they know Button's tank is right here.
I'm actually curious to see if Button is actually hunting that Puma. Looks like Button is trying to get elevated onto that. Again, those western hills, they provide a lot of elevation for anybody who's up. Oh, and that Puma went down. I'm assuming by one of the 7th Cav tanks. And River Crossing already has, about 25% of cap pressure by the Cav, so it looks like BR1's definitely going to be on the response to that.
Yep, so as they are up in the woods, I'm going to kind of push over here to River Crossing, give you guys an overhead view as you're looking at Jaybird going down there. Here's your overhead view of River Crossing. As we can see, it is being capped, but there is a push from BR1 plus CHAD here, CHAD plus BR1 on the bridge.
Those who are on the river, the 7th Cav guys who are on for River Crossing are definitely holding on for dear life for their ground.
See if Dark Caesar here can pull him out. Doesn't appear that he knows exactly where he's at.
Versus head at James is his Alamo right there. Looks like there's another Puma that by the two-man team, so they're quick to come up on that one. And it does look like there is a Panther that's currently in the defense for reserve for that river crossing defense.
So as we're looking here, James right here is just, you know, camping out on top of there, and no one's really pushing him or knows that he's there.
Oh, just got him. Yep, they just super downers. Looks like he just cleared the attic with James in it.
So
It looks like Buttons T70 might be being pushed by an anti-tankman from behind. We'll see if Tom Selleck might be Tom Selleck. Go Tom Selleck.
All right, so we're checking in on Willie Man's cam. Not seeing a whole lot there. And on Jaybird as he's pushing up here. Yeah, we'll follow Jaybird for a while here. See what happens. Is it looks like CHAD+BR1 is taking back river crossing. We're gonna do that overhead view here, just kind of giving you a heads up here of how that movement takes place. And as we continue here with a little bit of a break, I do just want to, you know, point this out to everyone. You can always like and subscribe. Any comments that are posted, we are on a 15-minute delay. We do not have them up here on the stream, so unfortunately we'll not be able to see your comments. But we will look through them after the match has ended. So we have about 52 minutes left. We're definitely seeing a lot of BR1 guys here. It looks like they're possibly going to make a push towards the midpoint here.
Sounds like a Katyusha strike just got called on to the Watermill point by Mix as team commander for the Russian side. BR1's width of a battle line is very impressive. They are ensuring that they are not conceded or down to just one specific area. So they are covering a lot of surface and trying to envelop that potential 7th Cav push. I'm sure it's going to come pretty soon.
You're seeing these rockets come in. Look at that barrage.
Man, can we just take a moment to appreciate that? With all of the faults, this game is definitely a very pretty game.
I mean, we're doing it from the sky, so it doesn't give it justice. I mean, if I go into Jaybird here, you can really see the detail. Like, look at that. Like, just the detail of the game. Yeah, we definitely gotta give it a prop here. I mean, Team 17's taking it over. As I say, I'm always looking forward to see what they'll do. But I mean, the game, you know, bread or potatoes or whatever you want to call it, it is good. It's a beautiful game. As Jaybird goes down there. Ooh, I just saw an explosion out of the front.
Looks like it was a German supply truck that went down potentially by either the anti-tank gun that's on support by fire or one of the tanks. It looked like the IS-1s did push together. Again, one overwatching, one kind of leading forward with, looks like a 7th Cav anti-tank gun as well.
So we got Willie Man riding on top of the tank. Actually, I don't see that very often nowadays. Especially in comp. You don't really see that in comp. So that tank for the ally side is still there for 7th Cav. So he's definitely just kind of staying in that point. Hasn't really pushed in or anything, just kind of staying in that general area to help assist with any pushes or defensive artillery or shots that it may need.
Not surprised at all. One of the things about tanking is if you got a good position, you know, you don't really need to move.
Nope, and as you say that, I do see a Puma slowly working its way up as it gets taken out. Or not taken out, gets hit from the backside here. I don't see anyone other than some 7th Cav over by hay storage, or over in that area.
I'm seeing the Panther coming in, trying to hunt out those IS-1s, but oh, it's already been spotted. That was a very quick reaction on that by the 7th Cav. And it's gone. I'm 99% sure infantry's presence of just scouting those tanks as the BR1 tanks approach, highly crucial for the 7th Cav tanks to get ready for reaction to contact. So I cannot imagine infantry did not have a hand in that kill.
Yeah, definitely, spotting's definitely a key factor in Hell Let Loose matches. Communication, getting your marks accurate. As we saw, you do have precision airstrikes as well, which if a tank doesn't move and you got that mark accurate and that precision comes down, that can be a big factor to take out tanks in some key situations.
Oh, sounds like one of the IS-1s is already being taken down by something. Unsure what. Potential anti-tank gun, I'm sure. Yep, there it is. Really, really great response by BR1. If the tanks can't kill him, anti-tank guns can for sure. And good reaction by the 7th Cav IS-1s, killing the crew first. I'm pretty sure I can imagine a tank shell coming in to take out that. There it is.
And I know as everyone loves explosions here, we're gonna tune right back to it and hit that replay button so you can see it.
Man, I'm really hoping that that first shot with the yep, there it is. Tank shell coming in to take out that. There it is. It's gone.
As we're looking at that, it does appear we did have a slight push over here on this anti-tank. But as you can see, there's a decent amount of support over here, so this is definitely going to be a hard spot to push and take out. And this is kind of like the defensive line to get all the way over here to Watermill.
100%. And it seems from what I'm noticing, 7th Cav is in no rush to push river crossing. They are making sure that they go smart with this.
I don't blame them. I mean, midpoint, you know, you have to hold the midpoint to win. A lot of teams, they'll take the midpoint and that's all they'll do is defend. They won't take that next step to push. Sometimes that really hurts them because it's nice to have that extra cap space. You know, okay, they have to take, let's say, river crossing first and then they gotta get to the midpoint to win the game. Where if you're holding back and any of your lines fail, you know, that can cause havoc and really lead to losing the midpoint. So we'll see how this shakes out as we continue with the match with 46 minutes left to go.
Looks like BR1 is taking a position on the western hill and just trying to essentially cut off any type of movement through this open field into river crossing. Really good, really smart position on that.
Yep, and it looks like we actually have a guy up there. We have Jaybird as he takes out one. See how many he can do here. He can lead to this push through. He finds the edge.
This is about what I was expecting for the 7th Cav game plan was, you know, when you take that middle point, we're not going to rush into a immediate assault. We're going to pick and prod and see where there might be some weaknesses, but they're not going to commit fully to one area until they know they have confidence for sure. And that's kind of what's happening here. 7th Cav has a small little team on this western hillside, trying to kind of push slowly, not rush anywhere, and they have one down the center in this trench line here as well. So this is about what I was expecting for the game plan.
Yeah, so there you go. As I switch over, you can see the trench line there. Yeah, there you go. There's you get the wider shot. As I hear a ricochet coming off the tank over here.
I'm hearing, I don't know where that is though.
Well, we have two tanks over here as I switch over to my camera. And that was coming from behind.
What in the world? It looks like one of those IS-1s just went down. So some type of tank is definitely hitting those guys.
And I'm going to tune in and see if Lilyman is in that tank.
Oh, it might have been an anti-tank gun.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it, so it must be an anti-tank. I'm going to switch over to yours if you're seeing anything.
Well, I found the remnants of it for sure. I'm definitely not seeing any heavy tanks in here. So yeah, anti-tank gun once again proving a very vital asset, especially against those heavies.
Yep, so now they're down to one tank on this on this flank over here. So it doesn't appear that we've seen any more pushing yet. They've kind of gone away from this side and maybe might start trying a different tactic.
Speak of the devil, Button in his recon car is currently taking down a heavy tank in the main road. Wow, Button, this is the gremlin mode I was talking about. He's here. He's not supposed to be a huge force, but he's supposed to pester, and pester he did. Really good job by Button's recon car here.
Alright, so I'm just kind of doing a brief overview here. We're going to tune in to Jaybird because he is close to that far flank. And I'm going to do a wide shot here, just kind of giving you guys an overview here.
7th Cav is marking down tanks that's currently... Oh, wow. There is a P4 who is currently on the backside of Watermill. I'm interested in seeing how the 7th Cav defenders can deal with this thing.
And I believe that's Willie Man's tank, so we definitely have first-person camera on there. We're going to see. We are having the slight difficulties with his feed, but it is coming in.
And 7th Cav has marked that P4, so that P4 is no longer incognito. You know, English is my first language sometimes. Whoa, and that P4 just got taken out by something. Another IS-1 taking on the western field of elevation. Really good job by the response on that IS-1. That is actually, I believe, the IS-1 that was initially taken down a little bit earlier in the game, and he's coming back in for the fight. And it looks like the second IS-1 did get pulled back to Watermill, so they are being pretty conservative about how far pushed up these IS-1s go.
Alright. So we do see Jaybirds on that hill with a push, so I'm going to tune right back to him here, just kind of giving you a brief overview where everyone's at and just seeing there is a slight push to Watermill up the middle as Jaybird goes down.
Come on and check. Oh, never mind. I spoke too soon. Bobo the Monk, excuse me, was doing a really solid push into Watermill, but he did get taken out by defending Cavs. But BR1 is having an interesting push coming up the ravine of the map. This ravine is essentially what the Watermill is. Watermilling, I guess you could say, which is a good inlet for infantry to kind of go through low and slow coming into Watermill. Wow, that first IS-1 narrowly avoiding that Stuka.
That was I want to see a replay on how close that was. So
that was close.
We're gonna come right back to it. Wow. I mean, I was here on the third person. We were gonna follow this push, and I hear that coming in. I'm like, let's switch. Wow. Boom! Look at that. So close.
Narrow dodge. Really good heads-up play by Lee's crew with Choi and Bush. Again, really seasoned tankers. I'm 99% sure once they hear that siren, it is immediate. Don't be in the same spot you're currently at. Really good push on that.
So we are seeing a push here. I'm just kind of following Wicked-Eyed Mouse here. We're seeing he's just trying to stay on the outskirts of the points, trying to wrap, trying to stay hidden.
This is very interesting. BR1 is really infiltrating the defensive line of the 7th Cav on Watermill, and they are getting some good ground. They are clearing the point.
There's no cap progress yet, but they are getting a little bit of a push here. Look at Ice just taking his time.
And it looks like that IS-1 is currently getting approached by an engineer potential satchel by what I would assume is Titan or Tian. He takes down the one crewman. Yep, it looks like that IS-1 is satchel. That's probably going to go down in a minute. Gotcha, no worries. Gotcha. Too easy. And there goes that IS-1 off that satchel.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to take a look back here. I know everyone likes replays, so
Yep. Gotcha. Too easy.
we are seeing slight progress when we're looking at this replay on river crossing.
7th Cav first to start getting that, applying that that cap pressure for sure. But BR1 is clearing the point, so that cap is already going down.
Yep, and I'm going to look here at buttons. And then we're looking
What
at
is that goblin doing?
Jaybird. So they're still not there over there. They're pretty far away.
BR1 has a very good approach from the direct east of Watermill, and wow, they're clearing the point. I don't see very many cavers on Watermill, and they're already applying cap pressure.
I'm hearing a bombing run possibly be coming in.
I hope. Let's see. That is definitely not a cav. Hopefully, that's not going to be a lot of team killing by that German bombing run. No, that bombing run went onto the west side of the map. I think they're helping clear any type of overwatch over there.
I'm really surprised that they went ahead with that approach instead of putting on the main point here, but they are getting good cap progress here. They just need to clear it.
And it looks like there's a huge spawn by cavers on the garrison that is northwest of the point. Again, like we said earlier in the match, this specific trench right here is going to be very key for any team that's holding Watermill or trying to attack it. They even look like the cav has actually built up a barricade specifically for the IS-1. Don't see it often, but hey, if it works, it works.
I mean, if you're not going to be moving with the tank, why not? We know they use their precision already, so it's going to be a while till they have another precision.
100%. And I'm already going to say right now, First Lieutenant Smith is a game.
So we are getting some good cap progress here, almost at the half point here. So with about 36 minutes left in the match here, we might see another cap switch here. And I'm gonna get in close for this one. And I'm gonna go, I think we have someone. I wish we had a first-person camera from there. I would love to see it from the ground. Yeah, so I'm gonna get us a kind of a greater view here from a different angle. Wow, look at that. You are seeing a lot of 7th Cav kind of circle around here to help take out that push from CHAD+BR1. So look at that. You're also seeing a field gun down here to the bottom with any tanks that could possibly be pushing in, but we haven't really seen a whole lot of CHAD+BR1 tanks come in on this point. I'm gonna tune in here. Oh, we can definitely take a look here. So, I am seeing some ammunition. I'm seeing manpower. I'm seeing a couple of fuel nodes. I don't think we had every single fuel node built. I got 2. Yep, and thank you for your donation. Private Kalenko. I just want to make sure I am saying that correctly, but thank you again for your donation of $10. It goes to a great cause, and I do appreciate that. Alright, so let me see here. We do have everyone kind of pushing in. Alright. I mean, yeah, so as we were kind of focusing on the other thing, yes, they did take the midpoint here, so or they did maintain the midpoint, so 7th Cav still has Watermill. It looks like CHAD+BR1 is kind of gearing up for another push, so we'll see what the strategy is here going forward. There is a little bit weaker because you know they built up the west side. We know that, we've seen it. I mean, they've had a couple of chances for CHAD+BR1 trying to push that side and it hasn't worked. So I would assume that's the next point. I'm gonna see if we can see where Buttons is at. Looks like two tanks right next to each other up on the hill. All three tanks for 7th Cav are right next to each other right now. Alright, so we're going to go down to Jaybird, who's our man on the battlefield. So we're going to see here kind of what it's like to play Hell Let Loose and play in one of these competitive matches. It can be intense sometimes. So it looks like he's kind of playing the spotter role. That might be doing a lot of those precision airstrikes is what I'm looking at here.
On this western hill, having a little bit too much fun, if you ask me.
Having too much fun.
I just realized there is a tiger on the opposite end of the field hiding away from the IS-1s, overlooking any approach by the 7th Cav onto river crossing. This makes sense. This tracks.
I'm going to switch over to, yep, so there you go. So we can see yours. We can see that it's working like that. And I do apologize. I did accidentally hit the Discord. I did accidentally hit your mic real quick to mute you for a second. I don't know how long you're out, but I know you're only out for a couple of seconds or a minute. So do apologize for that. I'm going to switch over to my camera here. As you're just seeing, this is Buttons, I believe. As we switch over here to first person, he had, you know, strikes coming all the way around him. They just keep missing.
I gotta say, Button's Goblin mode is just absolutely in full effect tonight. He is moving as much as possible. He is not staying. He has been dodging multiple shots from multiple different anti-tank weaponry. This man is absolute chaos mode.
So we are just keeping an eye on the point. As we see Dad Bod there. Oh!
And it looks like BR1 has set up 2 more anti-tank guns in the other areas that the other anti-tank guns were first done. Yeah, BR1 definitely knows the position that they need to have on lock for sure with this defensive of river crossing.
Yeah, so there you can see it. You did see that Buttons managed to go all the way through to the south to around the D9 sector of the map. So he pushed all the way through there.
And it looks like that Tiger just took him down, I think.
Yeah, he did just go down. So We'll definitely do a replay on that. See if we can find it. See that Buttons managed to go.
I believe it was that same tiger we had seen that's just chilling out on the hill.
Yep.
And it looks like BR1 has even built a repair station for that tiger as well. It looks like that tiger just took him down, I think.
Yeah, he did just go down. So, all right, so we are starting to see a little bit of a push here. So, not a huge push, but a slight right up the middle here from the south.
Yeah, BR1 is really trying to use that ravine that provides a decent amount of cover through that open field, and that's a smart play, 100%. And it looks like the anti-tank guns are opening up on that IS-1 right now. I'm not sure which one they're opening up on, but they're opening up on one of them.
Slight. And it looks like Willie Man, I think he's gotten away from the tank and more close to the spotter roll. As I'm assuming they're trying to pinpoint those tank positions.
Absolutely. One thing that's critical for BR1, especially to defend against these IS-1s, is just to deposition them. Once you get those tanks moving, it makes the effectivity of those tanks, it reduces their effectivity for sure. A moving tank is very hard to engage a lot of things. Yeah, those anti-tank guns are opening up on the IS-1 real quickly on it, and they are not wasting time.
Yep, and it looks like Willie Man just spotted him, and now Jaybird just spotted one of the tanks. So there's definitely some markers coming in here, and we're going to see how this plays out for them. So it may be, if I'm got my math right, I think we might have enough time now for a precision airstrike.
Oh, looks like the 7th Cav also built a repair station behind one of the IS-1s, so I'm sure they're definitely going to use that to full effect.
Yep, as you can see it right here, so I'll zoom in on it. You can see it right there.
Oh, man, these IS-1s are just bobbing and weaving. Did that IS-1 just take down one of the tigers?
See some type of smoke that way. I don't know if that's what it was, but definitely go take a look. I'm going to tune in over here to Jaybird. And as I do that, I'm going to focus back on that point.
7th Cav definitely learned their lesson from the first flip. They have not pushed hard on the pushing away from Watermill. They are digging in. And then those anti-tank guns, they are opening up back on the IS-1 again. I was going to see if they actually, if they can take it out, or if that repair station is just going to nullify any effect that they have.
Yep, so we have 25 minutes left to see any type of push or cap movement here. Not seeing a whole lot of action or movement from both sides. Both sides are kind of on the defensive mode right now. But any type of push that CHAD+BR1 has been doing so far has kind of been getting taken out. I think the closest we saw was the movement straight from the south on Watermill, where they had it just over half cap. That was around the 50-minute mark.
Artie is devastating. It looks like, I'm assuming BR1 Artie is trying to come back down onto the point. I'm assuming they're thinking they're going to try and soften up the defenders.
So we're going to see Jaybird here. He's actually a lone wolf here on the push. Gets taken out.
Looks like yet again, another anti-tank gun built up in this position here. This is BR1's kind of anti-tank emplacement right here, specifically with, you can actually see all the different carcasses of each anti-tank gun, which is really fun.
Yeah, we got 4 all there. Each time they move it over just slightly.
You know, at this point, if, you know, BR1 is having those fuel issues, anti-tank guns are really going to be the only answer to heavy tanks until they can get their own heavy tanks into the field. So BR1's doing a really good job with filling in that gap with anti-tank.
And I am seeing a couple of movement from 7th Cav in the back here of the south. Oop, as I accidentally hit my mouse.
Yeah. Looking at the BR1 teams that are back here, these are the airborne assets. So it looks like they were using the airborne assets, kind of like how historical airborne assets typically are, behind the enemy line, making a muck out of the back line for the enemy, and giving them something to think about and pulling their attention away from the front line that essentially the regular infantry would be pushing.
So this is just infantry pulling everyone away from the main focus here.
Absolutely. Looked like that Tiger, Hexy's Tiger is trying to get some shots in on that IS-1. He might be getting some shots in. We'll see if the IS-1s can retaliate in quickness, but we're gonna find out. Looks like one IS-1 just went down. Good kill by Texy with that Tiger.
As I'm seeing, all three of our first-person cameras right now are outside of vehicles, and looks like they're fighting on foot.
We'll see if the IS-1s can retaliate in quickness, but and the repair station that was helping the Tiger did get taken down by something. Wow, Artie is just raining down on this Tiger and any defensive infantry helping him out.
Definitely got a good area of protection there. I'm gonna see where everyone's at here. So we got Jaybird, got Willie Man still spotting. Looks like Buttons was able to get back into a tank.
BR1 anti-tank guns again pestering that IS-1. We're probably gonna see it all game.
Yeah, that's definitely something that you definitely are gonna see. I mean, they have 4 of them. They've had 4 of them this entire match, so definitely something you will continue to see with 21 minutes and 30 seconds left in the match. So we're gonna switch over here. I'm just gonna give you that overhead view, kind of looking over. No big pushes yet. We are seeing 7th Cav push up a little bit here. And as we get closer here, I'm going to go to our Be Right Back. And we'll just kind of let you guys watch. It should be back shortly. Alright guys, we are back. Thank you for waiting patiently with our Be Right Back. So we have roughly around 18 minutes left here in this match. BR1, Chad plus BR1 is definitely have to make a push on the midpoint here if they want to win.
Another IS-1 just went down. I'm not sure by which tank, but definitely by one of the tanks. It looks to be, oh, again, Texas Tiger. Texas Tiger, that's on the inside of this neighborhood. He is absolutely just getting those IS-1s just dealt with. Really,
Yeah.
just good job by Texi.
And that's the one that's just roughly off to the south. So
Yeah. Texi's doing a really good job with using the houses to break up his silhouette and using it for cover. One of those things when it comes to tanking is who can see who first and who can get those first shots off, right? And Texi using these houses, breaking up that tiger's silhouette, really good job with that. But it looks like he is being engaged potentially by the anti-tank gun, I'm sure. And he is taking shots after shots.
and here's a great shot from the other end of that. Whoa!
And yep, good job dealing with that anti-tank gun. That thing was pestering him pretty rough. Although I will say, 7th Cav IS-1 did take a position up in Charlie 3 on that windmill. They're probably going to try and put some shots down on that IS-1 with blind fire on those marks.
Alright, and as we're looking at this, we will be tuning into buttons. So, looks like he's got a lot of infantry around him. Got a lot of action up here.
Looks like the IS-1's dealing with that Tiger now. Random non-pen, not sure by what, but looks like that Tiger is trying to figure out what's engaging him.
Kind of giving you guys an overhead view of troop movements here. And we got Jaybird supporting that Tiger, I believe.
Yep, and it is getting pushed hard by some type of IS-1. He's going to take cover, and definitely is probably going to go in for some repairs. There's a friendly Panther, I believe, also in the area. Yep, there it is, right here. Friendly Panther also in the area, providing support as well. Not sure if it's been noticed by the Cav, though.
So I'm trying to look for buttons here, because it looks like he might be getting overran here.
Oh, looks like Button tried to come around those heavy tanks. He's right here.
And
Oh my god.
And he may be getting satcheled here soon, because I did just see someone climb on top of him.
I think the infantry are playing Ring Around Rosie. Oh, and there's a second Tiger joining the fight. I'm sure that tank is going to deal with him as well. So it looks like the BR1 actually saved up their fuel to get 3 heavies into the field. Oof.
Oof. That was something else right there. I mean,
yeah,
definitely a team effort there on that push, and we'll definitely see that in the replay here.
So one thing I'm noticing now with this second Tiger, the BR1 now has 3 heavies on the field. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with them, if they're going to do anything with them at all.
Oof. That was something else right there. I mean,
yeah.
So as I come up here, you're gonna see the tanks in the background at the top right, as we're kind of just going through the layout of the push here on the south or the southwest side to west to east, or I'm sorry, northwest. As I look back to the southwest, not a whole lot of troop movements. We're seeing some over here.
BR1 is definitely trying to some land on the southwestern section of Watermill. They are probably going to try and use the tanks, the heavy tanks that are currently in the southwestern as well. I think they're going to try and use those.
Yeah, we'll definitely see if we can get a good push there, because they've been struggling on that southwest side all game. So we'll see if those tanks are what they truly need to have a breakthrough. As I switch back to river crossings, there is a few 7th Cav guys on the point as Dark Caesar goes down. We'll kind of watch see how this push plays out for everyone.
And it looks like BR1's already starting to do their envelopment of Watermill to push in. I'm expecting Cav to harshly condense again and compress back into the point.
So I'm just keeping an eye out for our first person cams, see if we see any action on their side of things.
Looks like 7th Cav is getting their IS-1 back into the position on that trench line just northwest of Watermill. Let's see if they can probably return fire with those heavies, because I'm sure they've been spotted already.
So as you're looking at that, I do want to point out we do have some cap progress for 7th Cav on river crossing. We're kind of starting to see two halves kind of set up here, one on each side of the river as we push over here. So here's kind of your brief overview of river crossing right now.
Very interesting. BR1 took a Tiger and went straight up the crevice, that ravine going into Watermill, and they just barreled on through, but they did get kicked back away. So I'm assuming they must have lost their friendly infantry push.
Well, I mean, the friendly infantry right now, it looks like 7th Cav has kind of bunkered in right before the bridge on river crossing, so that's kind of pushing back some of those CHAD+BR1 infantry members.
It looks like 7th Cav is taking their position back on the trench. IS-1's currently looking at the ravine, the Watermill. I'm assuming he's probably going to start switching back to his direct front, or he is looking for that Tiger, that push, and I'm assuming that's what he's really trying to hunt down first.
Yep, and as we do that, I'm going to tune in to Jaybird because he's actually down there over by river crossing trying to take out the remaining 7th Cav guys. As I am looking at that.
It looks like 7th Cav has also called out another tank, which is now, I believe, trying to take down the IS-1 that was pushed up here. They already got one shot in. No return fire by the that IS-1 just went down by another tank. Out. Yep. Really good job by Gold Star and TN pushing up with that Panther. This is probably going to be the flank we're expecting. That's going to be Gold Star and TN, I believe. One just went down by another tank. Out. Yep. Really good job by Gold Star and TN pushing up with that Panther. This is probably going to be the flank we're expecting. That's going to be Gold Star and TN, I believe.
Yeah, because as I'm looking from my angle, you definitely can see the push in here. Starting to see some guys trickle in. As I do that, though, I am over on river crossing. We are seeing some cap progress over here. So we got Jaybird down there. Not noticing that he still has enemies to his left. There you go. Now he's noticed it up above. He gets taken out. We have a minute 56 left, so if they could possibly get it, we don't know. Is that enough time to get a cap on this? Yeah, and here's your river cross. And here's your river crossing right now. We do have some CHAD+BR1 guys still on the point here, putting pressure there. As we come back to you, trying to look and see on that midpoint, will it take effect? Alright, so we'll see here. I'm going to tune back over here to river crossing. As you can see, it's mostly been cleared out, so you're seeing that cap progress come back. But as for the main push on Watermill, I think this game's going to 7th Cav. Yeah, for sure. I mean, as we can see here, as we switch back over to meet BR1, CHAD+BR1 fully committed now to making sure river crossing doesn't get taken over. So yeah, I think it looks like it's gonna be a win for 7th Cav tonight. Yep, so there you have it. Defeat 3-2, with the win going to 7th Cav tonight. Alright, so guys, real quick, we're going to do some takeaways. We're going to go to our Be Right Back. And hopefully when we come back, we actually have some people we can interview with you, or interview for you, from both sides. So stay tuned, and hopefully we can have that ready for you soon. In the meantime, enjoy some ads. Maybe leave a donation. It's completely up to you.
Just
Welcome back. Alright. Thanks for waiting patiently, everyone. So, we are back with Dadbot, Button, and Willy Man. So, welcome, guys. Welcome. We're kind of going to break down some highlights here, some replays. Before we do that, do you have anything for them? Alright, yeah. We definitely had a lot going on. Definitely crazy. But here, we're going to kind of watch these, break them down. Guys, see anything? Yeah, let's go. There we go.
looked like anti-infantry for BR1 is going to try and fend off that recon car. That recon car seems to be getting out of there.
It's being kind of risky right there.
There it goes. Yeah,
There it
that
goes.
was interesting play.
And let's watch a replay on.
Just constant dense fire would be very useful.
Yeah, so we
Uproots
definitely
that
had a lot of moments like this. As you were speaking that, I just switched over. Just had a tank get blown up out of nowhere. I'm going to see right here. Yeah, so we did notice the entire match. We had a lot of tanks just kind of sitting on top of the hill, perched up. It was a great sightline.
The B line from Watermill to Lumberworks, but it looks like 7th Cav is actually putting in some cap pressure at Watermill.
Yeah, we are seeing a slight cap there, as you can see on the scoreboard, your bottom right. I'm gonna zoom in here because, yeah, I've actually just had that.
Because
Yep,
at some
just
point,
same as well.
for
We're
let's
gonna do
say
a recon.
most of the match, my squad was running the recon tank on the Axis side, and
A 7th
at some
Cav
point we
tank
ran
on
out
the
of
far
fuel.
side
Instead of
here.
waiting for a recon tank,
I'm
we
trying to
decided
find
to
it.
hop in and build AT
I think there's
guns,
a
and
Puma. The
I
Puma
was
up here is
plotting
also trying to find it as well.
for our squad.
And the Puma just found it.
All right, so
Really good response by that Puma.
definitely seeing the Puma there. That was one that.
Yeah, that's me.
All right, and then Buttons, I
There he
believe this
goes,
is
Buttons
you.
on it.
Yeah, so that is the felt very fairly
Looks like you got an
quoted
engine cam
goblin
on that.
energy that I got there.
Good job.
We practice getting those heavy tanks from behind in these tanks. It's one of my favorite things to do in this game.
I think you
Oh,
got
absolutely.
a total of 2 heavy.
Yeah, so with the cost of 0 fuel to the 7th Cav, we used free tanks the whole game. We cost you guys 2 heavies, a couple supply trucks, and more than our fair share of AT guns.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the Panther.
And those AT guns definitely doubled as like road barriers on river crossings. Whoever was setting those up, it was fantastic.
Reaction on that by the 7th Cav. And it's gone.
That was us at BR1.
Yeah, Deadbot,
Yeah,
those were
set those
dope.
up.
Even after you guys were like down on them, like they still stayed and became an issue.
Pretty sure I can imagine a tank shell coming in to take out that. There it is.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
That's,
planning that one. Yeah.
Which is a response to those AT guns was really quick for you guys. I know the IS-1 sitting up on that hill were constantly pestered by it, so it was a good response when they were up. And then of course naturally, I think at one point they did manage to get a good kill. And naturally, with those anti-tank guns displacing those IS-1s, I think that was one of the reasons an IS-1 was able to get taken down pretty quickly, because they were being displaced from their entrenched position. I think a Tiger or a Panther was able to come in and catch it off guard while it was moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, sadly we weren't able to kill any IS-1 with the AT guns because the way the IS-1 were placed, we could only hit the tracks and the turret, which so that we couldn't deal any critical hits on it.
Wow, that first IS-1 narrowly.
We saw a couple of these where it was just off, but those precision airstrikes were pretty close in tonight's match from both sides.
Yeah, I mean it was crazy. We were trying to call out tanks, but you know, they were just everywhere. And it made for a rough AT match, and
You did see that,
but I mean it was a fairly even match for most of the game. I mean it wasn't one way or the other. It was a fantastic game, and props to 7th Cav for sure.
Looks like that Tiger just took him down, I think.
Yeah, he did just go down. So, all right, yeah. So we're just kind of going through all of the different ones. A lot of tank replays from tonight, because tanks did play a key role tonight, along with field guns. Definitely having a good take on that, guys.
Yeah, on open such wide open maps like these, tanks usually play key roles in either victory and defeat.
But it looks like he is being engaged. We were definitely noticing as you guys pushed either with the defensive by BR1 or 7th Cav, that trench system just northwest of Watermill was a key kind of asset both teams recognized as needing to hold for either defending the point or even just attacking the point, which I think Cav was pretty good about trying to maintain if they didn't have it. So it looks like the BR1 actually saved up their fuel to get 3 heavies into the field. Oof.
Oof. We were just seeing explosion after explosion, tanks back and forth. I mean, that right there shows you what tonight was like, from our perspective.
That IS-1 just went down by another tank. Yep. Really good job by Goldstar and Tian pushing up with that Panther. This is probably going to be the flank we're expecting.
And one of the big things we noticed tonight was the southwest side was kind of that major like fortified area on the map. Like we saw trenches on both sides in that area, right on the midpoint, and then up on the hillside in the trees, a lot of fighting action on that end. I don't believe.
Yeah, there was a lot of fighting action over river crossing in the east as well. I mean, I focused pretty much the east with my squad, and it was just constant battle back and forth to gain control over that.
All right, so we kind of weren't able to focus away over on the east side, unfortunately, but right here we did get some. So once you got towards the end here, you are correct with the river crossing. We saw a lot of action over there because there was that little trench, as you said, goes all the way through to the midpoint, and they just kept trying to push through there.
BR1 had an incredible push with the Arrowhead, by the way. Just sent multiple attackers in, and for a moment there was a lot of cap pressure they were putting in, but I think one of the IS-1s ended up crashing in on that point and taking care of them. I think right here might be one of those moments. Oh, excuse me. This is the first Tiger that pushed in. My bad.
As we see here, this is one of the Panthers trying to help with that push. And as we said, the sight lines on the west side here really played a key factor for tank battles.
7th Cav
Absolutely.
Airborne had a huge presence in this specific area of the map, which would have been west of river crossing. They did a really good job with spotting your guys' tanks, calling them out to the IS-1s, and just like in this one scene here, once that Panther came into the open, the IS-1 already knew and was lining up on him as he stopped. Really good job by the 7th Cav Airborne shutting down those areas and maintaining eyes and scouts.
Yeah, for sure. So Willie, man, I do have a question for you. This is your first time being on the camera, but from the other perspective. So how was that for you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's good to be back playing again after a couple years of not playing comp again.
All right, awesome. Well, it was definitely fun to watch you from this perspective. As for buttons, I don't believe I'm not too familiar. Have you been on a live stream like this before with that first person cam?
No, this is the first time I've been streamed. I did a little bit of streaming back in the day when I first started getting into this, but I wasn't a tanker back then, so I'm glad that footage isn't around anymore.
Well, is there any type of pressure you felt from that at all from us, knowing in the back of your mind, hey, I'm getting first person camera for stream tonight?
Yeah, I mean, that was there. It definitely raised the want and desire to perform a little better. I did have a surprise watch party show up to watch it at my house while I'm playing it, so that also didn't help. They were all over me for that tonight.
Well, that's awesome. They can definitely, rewatch this, definitely watch the interview tonight. I guess you shouted him out, so that's always nice. Dad bod, so we didn't get your first person camera perspective. We did see you a couple times in the stream tonight, just kind of like going through and going through some of the cat points. You were definitely alongside there with Dark Caesar, Jaybird, a couple of others. So, tell us a little bit about what your role tonight was.
My role was defense. We basically kind of just tried to hold it down. I mean, they were pushing from the northwest and the east, so we broke up into 3 squads. And actually, we broke up into 4, and we just kind of covered all of the north, south, east, and west. And we held it pretty good on the on river. We unfortunately did end up losing Watermill, but it's the way it goes. I think the tanks just kind of struggled a little bit, but my role was just kind of defending the east and spotting. I just had my binos out and I was on buildings and marking everything for everybody.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming out tonight and letting us, kind of interview with you. I mean, it was a pleasure to watch you. It was a lot of fun. I don't know if any of you guys want to come back. We'd love to have you guys. But as it is, I think that's everything we got. Anything you'd like to add? Any of you?
I'd just like to say shout out to 7th Cav for an awesome match and good game.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
awesome.
same to you guys. Thanks for having us. It was a blast.
Well, it was a pleasure to have you
Absolutely.
guys here anytime. And with that, just reminders, guys, we do have a charity event going on right now, or should I say a charity donation we're going for with Gamers Outreach. You can definitely scan the QR code top right if you'd like to donate. More information's on br1gaming.com. Scroll down our main page, you can find it there. As well, for events, we do have Saturday Brawls every Saturday at 1 p.m. EST. We do have Friday Night Fights that is hosted by the Senate every Friday at 9 p.m. EST. That is open to everyone. And then, of course, Sunday Night Standoff every Sunday at 9 p.m. EST. That event is hosted by the Schultz from Jaegers. So tune in or play, whatever you'd like. Either way, see you guys next time.